Well, good evening. My name's Michael Hall. I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning for the School of Education. So thank you for giving up your time this evening to listen to what we've got to say about opportunities in the School of Education. We're here at Nottingham, we're very proud of our School of Education. It offers a wide range of programmes, not necessarily just for those who wish to teach, but also those who may be in some of the other services of teaching. Now, specifically, this talk is about postgraduate opportunities in the taught programme. So I'd welcome any comments. If you want to sort of add the comments, I'll try to address them as we go through the talk this evening. So without further ado, I'll start off with the general philosophy about what it is we try to do and what we're trying to do in terms of our school philosophy. We really want our students to become agile in terms of thought and mind. And our philosophy statement, it goes something a little bit like this, that the School of Education embodies a philosophy that is humanistic, transformational, holistic and inclusive, aimed at achieving high standards and improving life chances of individuals and communities. And I think that really does capture what we're trying to do. The School of Education student is classified or can be described as being agile in mind and in action, that exhibits high levels of leadership, emotional and social intelligence. Our students are resilient, confident and reflective, innovative and creative in everything they do. So I think that really does capture what we're trying to do through our programs. Now, with postgraduate programs, the philosophy about teaching and learning is slightly different to what you may have experienced at an undergraduate level. We're committed to providing a quality educational experience for all students, for wherever they are in the world. The University of Nottingham, it follows the footsteps of all our students from undergraduate through to PhD. We are one of the leading institutions in Malaysia, and if not the world, for research. And our multidisciplinary approach is really quite appropriate and good for what we do. What we are aiming to do is to help our students change the educational platform, not just here in Malaysia, but also across the world. There are many opportunities to study global and local educational cultures and contexts, and really extend a student's knowledge about the educational society. Now, with all programs, there are possibilities of scholarships. And here at the university, there is a dedicated team who deals with applications for scholarships. So in terms of funding applications, there are opportunities to make an application for additional funding. If you are considering moving on to postgraduate study, I want to try to, within the next section, is really to sort of take you through the opportunities without reading verbatim all the programs which are available, but just to explain that our postgraduate programs are separated into three distinct areas. First is the certificate level, which comprises of 2 30-credit modules. So students who wish to take a postgraduate certificate in education will undertake two modules, one being a compulsory module and one being an optional module. Now, from moving on from certificate, the diploma, the postgraduate diploma in education comprises of a further 2 30-credit modules, bringing up the total to 60 credits of study. So you can look at the different disciplines of which we're trying to do and decide whether it's certificate, diploma, or the full MA. So the full MA comprises it then of the certificate, diploma, and then a dissertation worth another 60 credits. So that we're sort of moving on quite nicely with that one. Now, career prospects from following on our postgraduate diplomas, it means we'd include or expect people who are looking to further their careers in either as language tutors, primary and secondary school teachers, or post-compulsory teachers, school principals, special educational needs consultants, heads of departments, and vocational teachers as well. So there's a great deal of movement across there, and particularly for those who may have a background in human resource management, an education degree is particularly useful for then helping them to understand the value of training and continuous professional development of their employees as well. So the particular programs, there's a top program in MA in education where you're able to take either MA or postgraduate diploma or postgraduate certificate in education, and this really is a generalized approach to the structure of the program. It's the program sort of looks at quite a holistic viewpoint of issues in education. Typically, the modules, the core module for each of our programs includes practice-based inquiry, which is a research method, methods type of module, where you have the choice to be able to select a particular issue relating to your own practice or your own school, or a particular issue relating into education, to complete a small-scale piece of research and then to write up and to make some form of contribution to knowledge. So it's particularly useful in that way as well. So the common or the typical optional modules we offer could include assessment in language education, communication and literacy. So if you have a particular interest in literacy, that's a particularly good one. There's a module on debating special and inclusive education. So for those who have got particular interest in inclusive and special education, that's a particularly interesting module as well. Effective leadership and change in education is another module, particularly for those who are looking at specializing in educational leadership and management. Issues in educational leadership, language, teaching, methodology and curriculum, leading learning and managing language teaching and language teachers, materials and technology in language education. Interestingly enough, then a particular interesting subject is then the relationships and managing challenging behaviour within the schools is becoming more challenging across the world. The teaching of English for academic purposes, the context, the language and the pedagogic approaches we use. Teaching language to young learners and understanding language learning and language learners. So which leads us quite nicely on to then, well, what sort of pathway would I take? We offer here at the School of Education a pathway in TESOL education. So for teaching of English as a second language, if that is your passion, and you're looking to sort of develop skills and knowledge more, then that may be for consideration as well. We also offer a educational leadership and management pathway from certificate, diploma and full MA, which is particularly attractive to those who are either principals, head teachers or heads of department, or for those people who are aspiring to become the next generation of educational leaders. And it's particularly interested in terms of where we can, where we look at those issues relating to educational leadership and management, what problems are schools facing at this moment in time, and then how we can do and how we may overcome those as well. In terms of the next pathway is the MA or a postgraduate diploma or postgraduate certificate in inclusive and special education. So this is a particularly interesting module, specifically designed for those candidates or those people who may wish to further develop their careers and understanding of what special and inclusive education is, how it's developed, the historical nature of where it's come from, where we've moved, and what are the schools' responses and policymakers' responses to new research, and how we include or embrace learning differences rather than dealing with difficulties. So I think that's a particular interesting one. I think we've mentioned the TESOL, the teaching of English as a second language. Again, it's offered at full MA, postgraduate certificate and postgraduate diploma. And this is for people who are particularly interested in the teaching of English and teaching a language. And as we know, that English is really the language of the internet, it's the language of international business. It's more and more pressures on everybody to become more equipped with speaking of English language as well. So just to recap, each of the three pathways, educational leadership, general education, TESOL, and special education and inclusive education, is constructed into three different pathways. The postgraduate certificate, then moving on to postgraduate diploma, and then moving on to the full MA. So I think that's particularly useful we think about that. Now, if you decide to register and join us for, say, for the masters, for the full MA, you work your way through each of these thresholds. So you would complete the modules for a certificate, and then the modules again for a diploma, and then move on to the dissertation. So the dissertation really is a substantive piece of scholarly activity. This is really which makes the difference in terms of, or defines what a master's degree is really about. A master's degree, in terms of the dissertation, would be looking for some form of contribution to knowledge. That at the end of that dissertation, we would know something we didn't know at the beginning. So it does involve a lot of reading, and you do have to sort of devote a little bit of time and manage your time very carefully in order to be able to meet the demands of that degree. It is quite challenging. So I think you do need to have done some preparatory work before you embark on either the certificate, diploma, or the MA, and to be ready to meet those challenges as well. So, notwithstanding that, we also welcome not just individual applications, but applications from groups or from companies or from different schools. We are able to blend certain modules and create bespoke programs relating to the particular needs of the groups. And along with applications from cohorts or groups of students, the university is able to offer some form of discount, which we could discuss on an individual basis. So in terms of the structure of how we go about that, just again to reinforce this issue, 30 credits for 30 credit modules comprises two 30 credit modules comprises of the certificate, the diploma, and that will comprise then of a successful completion of 60 credits, and the MA comprises of completion of 120 credits, which the dissertation is usually around about 12 to 15,000 words in terms of what you would complete a dissertation. The size of a 30 credit module assignment is between 5,000 and 6,000 words per assessment per module. So there are substantial pieces of work, and we do sort of expect high levels of creativity, contribution to knowledge, the application of the models you've read about, and then looking at the way you go through each of those programs is really important, that we capture that. We capture the best of your written work as well. There are other opportunities around the university to engage in a great deal of programs and events. One we're particularly proud of is the Educational Showcase, but which would hopefully will be restarting again next year in 2021. And that's an opportunity for students to really demonstrate what they've done and then the contribution they've made to the community in terms of what, either by poster presentation or by a presentation. You've got the opportunity to sort of really get involved in the wider community and network with policymakers and other interested parties from either the ministries or from other schools. So there's a whole range of things which go on. Now, if you're not able to attend here in person, the university offers the programs there are programs offered in Singapore, currently in Mumbai, Singapore, and Sri Lanka. So if you're outside of Malaysia, then there are offshore programs which we can help you with and get you in touch with some of our partners as well. So there's a great deal of opportunity there and then. I think we're all aware of the constraints and the pressures, the current situation of the virus, of what happens in terms of with the virus. So therefore, we're making good use of technology. And again, really, what's important just to remember is that we use a lot of technology in our teaching, and that's reflected in one of our modules as well. So if there's any questions, please feel free just to sort of put some comments of that, but that would be fine. And just to reiterate, then the MA Educational Leadership and Management, MA TESOL, MA Special and Inclusive Education is a total of 180 credits. I think I've been a bit misleading. 120 credits for the taught modules and 60 credits for a dissertation. So for those of you who are interested in joining the MA and want a full master's degree, the credit value is 180 credits. So I just want to make that particularly clear as well. Other than that, there is another program we offered, which is the Certificate in Higher Education. For those people who may be working in universities and have not got a formal teaching qualification, then there is a program of where we can offer the PGCHEI, the international program, and that's quite unique. And those are particularly for people who are working in higher education. It offers it's a 60 credit qualification made up of 20 credit modules, so three 20 credit modules as well. It's compulsory for candidates to complete all 3 modules as well within that period of time. And typical core modules for the PGCE is effective teaching and learning in higher education, introduction to educational inquiry, and understanding teaching and learning in higher education. So that is a particular program specifically designed for people who are working in higher education. We need to talk about, I think, a little bit about teacher training. At this moment in time, we don't particularly offer a teacher training qualification in its own rights. That's on its way. But any form of education degrees is a form of teacher development. So what will be coming along shortly is a professional graduate certificate in education for people who wish to work in secondary or primary or further post-compulsory education as well. So that's on its way. Now, our programs don't offer the QTS. The QTS, the Qualified Teacher Status, is a status issued by the Department of Education for England. However, on successful completion, you are able to make an application direct to the Department of Education for England if you so wish to work in an English school. So QTS is often misled and often misused and misunderstood. We just want to make that particularly clear at this moment in time as well. So the entry requirements, I think what's really interesting for entry requirements as well, is that normally we would expect a relevant second-class honours degree or an international equivalent. So I think that's an important one to mention, that you've got a solid undergraduate qualification as well. The relevant experience may be required for some of the programs, but we'll discuss that with you at interview on an individual basis. I think that's the important thing as well. Non-UK qualifications are going to be will be assessed against the standard. So if you have a degree from somewhere, from another university, we're able to look at that and to be able to do that. Now, Malaysians applying as a mature student without standard entry requirements, but actually have substantial work experience, are welcomed. And as long as they have passed the accredited prior learning assessment through the Malaysian Qualifications Agency, could be considered for entry at postgraduate certificate level. But the admission is at the discretion of the admissions tutor for that program. So the English language requirements, as you know, all our programs are conducted in English. We'd be looking for English language requirements of IELTS at 6.5 with no less than 6.0 in each element of that qualification. TOEFL, a minimum of 87 and a minimum of 20 in speaking and 19 in all of the other elements. PTE, academic, 62 with no less than 55 in each element. And MUT, M-U-E-T, band 4. So those are some of the requirements we would also sort of refer to and look towards there as well. My colleague has provided a video for PhD, but I just wanted to mention the possibility of progression from master's programs onto PhD as well. We do offer a high quality PhD and MPhil route. So as a researcher, for all of your programs for MA, you will be appointed a personal tutor and a supervisor, particularly for your dissertation. And their job really is to work alongside you and reviewing the work and setting targets, and to make sure you realise your full aspirations of starting the MA. Doing an MA is not easy. I can't say it's going to be easy, but the university offers a wide range of support systems. So if things don't go quite right, I think what's important is that we're able to intervene, and your personal tutor, your supervisor, is the first person at call who can help. So there is a wide range of support facilities for students as well. And it's really important that during the induction period, you're aware of those issues and those support services to you in order to help you to achieve the desired outcome. So just to sort of try and capture this, what we've talked about is the opportunities in the School of Education are there for those who are wishing to aspire into leadership and management roles, or who are already in leadership and management roles and want some form of qualification and further training. For those people who are involved in special and inclusive education, the programs for master's level study are there. For TESOL, for an MA in TESOL, we provide opportunities to develop the teaching skills in the teaching of English as a second or other language. So that there's many wonderful opportunities. It's a vibrant, busy school with lots going on. It's an exciting place to be, and it's an exciting community to be with. So we welcome any further inquiries either through the chat rooms this afternoon or through email address. Please look up our specific web pages. For those of you who are considering MAs, take your time. I think that's the most important one, is take your time about the thinking, where the entry points for each of the master's programs are in February, June, September and November. So for international students, if you're considering applying from overseas, you need to give yourselves 3 months grace before you can start to thinking about enrolling with us. So from now, for anybody who's considering an international application, maybe September would be more realistic of an entry point. And just to say, the teaching team here at the university, and particularly within the School of Education, they are leading experts within their fields. And I can say that with a hand on heart. Wonderful teachers, very accomplished educators and researchers and publishers as well. So you will be in good hands. And if there's any other questions, you're more than welcome to pop them on the comments page. And may I take this opportunity for your time this evening. I hope this has been informative, and I look forward to meeting you again in the near future. Thank you and good evening.